the budget has been presented. So we had a meeting, and after when the president made a request, we declined to consider it in a focus and reported to the president that the session. And after the event, we had to snap a statement to that effect. So that is the outcome of the engagement.
So, just by way of clarification, is it the case that after the IMF negotiations are done, budget presented and approved, you would raise the matter again, or automatically the president will then decide to either ask the finance minister to resign or he be fired?
I think the release speaks first of that we expect the president to act on the demand of the caucus after the event.
And in acting on the demand, you expect the finance minister to either resign or be sacked. That's the expectation of the caucus.
I have indicated that the content of the release speaks itself.
That is your expectation, but is that what you gather from the president's discussions with you?
The president, as I said, on the basis of the prayer of the caucus, the president, when we met, related to where we are and the effect or the impact of any demand at this period for the counter of the finance minister, the impact on the negotiations, and also generally on the economy, especially the fiscal.
Why should the preparation of a budget and an IMF negotiation be the barrier in having the finance minister leave? Because these are things that have broadly been agreed by the economic management team and cabinet. So why should that prevent the minister from leaving?
I've indicated to you that the engagement with the president related to the extent of the discussion with the IMF, that the first phase or the first round of the negotiations might come to a conclusion next week. And the prayer of the president was that if you consider where we got into, and if at this stage, when we expect the IMF officials to be with us next week to conclude the first phase, whether at this material moment it will not be helpful to negotiating that again. And the introspection was done on this matter. Of course, the conclusion that will be arrived at would factor into the budget, and that was the other issue that President drew attention to. And in that regard, appeals to his own rights subject colleagues in the party and who are just included in
the action of the majority caucus is like a vote of no confidence in the finance minister. So with what authority and credibility would he be negotiating with the IMF when his own party members and their MPs say, sack him?
Can you come again on the question?
I'm saying that the action of the majority caucus is a vote of no confidence in the finance minister. So on what authority and credibility would he be negotiating with the IMF when his own party members of parliament say he should be fired by the president?
It is exactly this consideration that was brought to the fore by the president, that given where we are.
Yeah, but hasn't he lost the credibility now that you've called for his sack?
The accelerated pedal for us to conclude this matter. I agree with you that certainly it will have some effect. But if we push now, perhaps it could be much more satisfactory for the whole enterprise, which is why the members have acceded to the request. But what has happened has already happened. I think that we should look forward now.
But let me just ask you, I mean, if I ask you to negotiate with a man whose own followers have passed a vote of no confidence in, how would you feel arguing with that, negotiating with such a person?
Well, the vote of no confidence has not been passed yet. I mean, you could say that it's a declaration of intent, but certainly it's not been passed yet. And that's why I'm saying that what has happened has happened. Let's move on.
Right, so that's the
Majority Leader and Minister in charge of Parliamentary Affairs, Oseichi Mensah, joining us earlier on the Super Morning Show. This morning we're joined by the Chief Policy Analyst of the Ghana Institute of Public Policy Options, Dr. Charles Reku-Brobe, and the Executive Director of the Institute for Democratic Governance, IDEG, Dr. Emmanuel Akwete. Good morning, Dr. Akwete, and good morning, Dr. Reku-Brobe, and thanks very much for joining us.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Great. So let me start off with you, Dr. Charles Reku-Brobe. Now, the Majority Caucus on Tuesday took a decision. They asked the President to act. This morning, we have seen a statement from the Majority Caucus that suggests a U-turn, an agreement with the presidency that now we will wait till the budget presentation and end of IMF negotiations. What's your take, first of all, on all of these?
Well, I would say I'm disappointed but not surprised. Disappointed because we thought for once in the Fourth Republic we had people's representatives who are going to act on behalf of the people instead of what has characterized the Fourth Republic, which is party, individual, person, and then before the people. But it turned out that what was really at stake was a negotiation between the party and the executive, and Parliament and the executive. And when you went back to the original state press conference and somebody asked the question, I heard somebody talk about the inability to deliver the common fund and things like that. And immediately I saw that this was an attempt to use we the people to do negotiations between party and executive. So it's nothing surprising.
But I'm talking about nothing surprising. Let me get to you, Dr. Akwete. So they've given reasons. They've talked about the situation that we find ourselves in. Do you find there's explanation or reason tenable?
Do I find...
The reasons,
can you repeat what you said?
I'm asking whether you find the reasons of the Majority Caucus tenable.
For they saying, yeah, they should finish the negotiations and he goes.
Exactly.
Well, the thing is, first of all, the Majority Caucus ought to be commended. They put us in a situation where the same party, usually we don't see them doing this. As far as I can recall, this is the first time that a majority party of the governing president will take a stand and make demands and ultimatum. And so it's a significant thing. They are representing their people. And I think the whole situation of Parliament itself sheds light on the moment we are in. If they hadn't done it and opposition had done it, the minority, that would be given a different interpretation. You might think they are one. The Parliamentary Caucus is supporting the president in whatever he's doing. But this is not the case. And two, it seems to me that if after the negotiations or when they've met the president, I look for two things. One is I wanted to understand how soon is this negotiation to end and what are its implications? And I think that we are playing two-level games. That's what we call it. There's a domestic one that can be very radical and say, no, it must be done now. And there is also the international game, which has its own dynamics. And you have to, even his exit and so on and so forth, will be a matter of some negotiations in terms of how it impacts the process. Would we finish early? Is it going to do this? Who is the next person coming? And all that and so on. So if you look at it in terms of the two-level games, then it's not the decision you make here that should only be considered. Of course, we are the sovereign authority. The president exercises it. So we say, look, we've changed. Then it's okay. So we're going to start all over again. Okay, this is where we've reached. Are new people coming or are those to take over? A whole lot of other considerations. So that is one. Two, the president has also said that, we are so close, okay, to dealing with this. And so why don't we finish it? And then, what you've asked for will be done. when I read the statement of the majority caucus, it's so clear that their demand shall be acted upon after, they finish the negotiations, but it coincides with budget and all things. It hasn't ended the struggle, but I think a very important, significant position has been taken by the majority caucus members, the 80 or so who went, and the president has used it. The third point is, what will be the consequences if the president reneges on his promise? It could be worse. And I think the president himself, being a former parliamentarian and still being president in the next 2 quarter years or so, has so much to do that he needs his people in parliament. Could he risk creating integrity or credibility crisis within his own party? And the opposition is also there. So I think a number of factors would lead me to say that they should hold him to his word. They should finish the negotiations. It will bring some relief and alleviation, but we should look at things at two levels, not just in the country. And the CSOs themselves, a number of large CSO body has said, yes, they support the parliamentary caucus. I think the president will read through all this and say that this is not just an MPP inside MPP conversation. They are representing constituencies and the nation. And so I think that let's give the patience in democracy, the negotiations take time and so on. But the important thing is that they've been able to secure a deadline from the president when the action they require will be taken. The majority statement had repeated that. And we know that there are so many things the president needs his caucus. In a split parliament, a hung parliament, his room for maneuver is limited. I'm sorry. If it was the opposition that are taking, the minority that are taking this position, and he has all his MPs with him, as they did when the budget came up, late last year, what led to the fight and so on. That's a different scenario. This time, the majority caucus is split. And I would expect that if he reneges on his word, many more would join the 80. And it will be a very terrible time for him, So this is my position. They've come to an agreement. I hope the president commits. I think he would, because the consequences of the default will create too many problems for him, especially within his party when they also have other big issues of elections and other processes.
Now, before I get to Dr. Rekubrobe, Dr. Akwete, reading the statement and even speaking to the majority leader, they say it is their understanding, and the question was very clear, whether in that discussion the president said, "I will act on your, demands after the budget." The clarification he gives is that it is their expectation that, in principle, this is what is going to happen. There is not so much clarity on that. So how sure are we that this is what is going to happen?
The clarity for me, you see, if they were to go into those details and sign an agreement, the president pledges to do this and that and so on, first of all, within their own party, so their leader, CDC, and it's a governing party and so on, it is something that I wouldn't expect immediately. It will snowball. It will come to that point. In that case, the party is in trouble. Okay, whether it can even govern till the end of the year, 2 years and whatever is left. So it should have been this. It's the first time too. But I think those things will come up if the president reneges on, let them finish the negotiations and he goes. I think that is it cannot back off from that, because it will create. It's not only the parliamentary caucus; they belong to a constituency. The position they've taken reflects the interest of a majority of Ghanaians at this point in time, and you've heard all sorts of calls. So the president is under enormous pressure, and if he would come into open conflict with his party, the caucus that has, and it's in a parliamentary situation that does not favor him in any case. It's a split parliament, it's hanging. And they themselves, the minority, have their own censure motion and so on. So a number of factors will guide him. And I think that in democratic negotiations and so on, it takes time, you accommodate things, but the rule that should not be broken. He should not renege on his word. And that will be a serious thing. We will finish the negotiation, but he cannot govern because of the reaction that he's broken the faith they had in him or the trust. So it's a process. Let's see how it unfolds. For me, 30 days or 3 weeks, 21, is not a very long time. If he would want to trade that with his 2.5 or 2.25 years left, that's a different matter. That's the decision made. But we've not seen, this hasn't quenched the fire at all. Okay. I think it would embolden many more if he reneges on his word to join the majority within his own party. And the opposition is already, or the minority group is already armed, standing there waiting to launch the attack. So he's in a tight corner.
Okay. I'll come back to whether, if he wants to trade his 2.5 years and all of that with you, Dr. Acquah. But let me get to Dr. Charles Reku-Brobe, because you had said earlier that, you were disappointed but not surprised. No. Dr. Acquah seems to suggest it's a process. And the negotiations would come in democracy.
Well, it's not a process. It's kicking the can down the road, as they say. The support CSOs and Ghanaians gave was to the original statement given by the MP, not to their new statement allowing for negotiations or so-called whatever. So let's be clear on that. Nobody support. There's very little support among CSOs for the revised position that is being presented now. So, like I said, I'm not surprised. We are now grappling with two things: debt sustainability crisis and principal sustainability crisis. What we need to do now is get off this hobby horse and get some straight answers for Ghanaians now. Where has the IMF negotiations reached? Do we have a deal or do we not have a deal? What are the implications for Ghanaians in terms of whatever deal or whatever negotiations are going on? Are we going to have haircuts? Are we going to have steep tax rises? We cannot start talking about a budget in 3 weeks' time when the innards of all what is going on in terms of IMF discussions I've known to very few Ghanaians, if any at all, except those who are there. So let's cut out the normal fancy stuff that is going on with whether the president is doing this or doing that, and deal with the matter that is at hand for Ghanaians. What are the real issues for us with these IMF discussions? We don't know anything. We've been almost 6 months into the game, and nobody is saying anything. We have somebody saying they are perplexed about the problems and they are still sitting around doing nothing. Let's hear what is going on. I don't think we should move away from the issues at hand and start talking about negotiating tactics and all of that. I want to know, for the people of Ghana, what it all means going to the IMF. A proud nation has gone to the IMF, been taken there by the person who said we should never go to the IMF. That's all water under the bridge. We now need to know the real facts, figures, realities, and the implications. Okay.
Dr. Acquah, so you've said, the president cannot renege on this unless he wants to trade off his, the remaining 2.5 years of his presidency. What are you suggesting here?
Well, what I'm saying is that there will be strong public reaction because people are affected by the situation we are in. And I think what my senior brother, Dr. Reku-Brobe, has said, my regards to him, sir, it's the next question we should ask. Because I think the parliamentary action has opened the door that we ought to know more about what is happening. And it's shrouded in some confidentiality. Nobody knows. I don't know even if we know the full delegation of Ghana, those representing Ghana, and how it's constituted. So this issue of he representing Ghana could have been raised earlier. We all didn't, And where we are now, as it is, questions are to be, but those questions cannot be swept under the carpet. I mean, let's put it. Let us put it forward that, hey, we want to know what is going on. Give us a full report, and so on and so forth. Sometimes they will tell you that in these negotiations, there are moments of, it's a closed door and this and this and that and so on. But at least the questions that the senior citizen has raised could be answered by the ministry. It doesn't necessarily have to come from the president, unless the president is the sole spokesperson for this. But that information must be out, and they are legitimate, so that it also prepares us, or we input. But the fact is, the person leading the negotiations with Ghanaians, in terms of his relations with Ghanaians, there is a credibility gap. Okay, and that is where fundamentally the whole issue is. So once the Parliament, the president's own party, took this position, which I believe the minority also supports, that is the resignation or dismissal of the Minister of Finance, and then the MPs, they don't go on demonstration easily. They have to work with reasoning and all that and find a common position and so on. Otherwise, the budget itself will not pass. So it's a very complex political process we've gotten in. If they were to work together, the minority caucus and the majority group that is demanding this and so on, it will be difficult for the president to even go through, get the IMF negotiations to a conclusion, because they would look at what is happening domestically, from wherever they are sitting in D.C., Washington, D.C. So it's a complex process. All that I'm saying is that this opens the door to many things we want to know. Okay, it's not just the resignation or dismissal of the finance minister and the deputy after they've negotiated. Could a curious nation citizenry say, so what at all is being done? What is going on? And what is being agreed to? And so on and so forth. And how would it change the situation? We've seen IMF agreements negotiated, but in the past, all those negotiations were not in the open. So maybe this is the time to say, well, we ought to know, at least our representatives should know where things are. And I would have expected the parliamentary caucus within the MPP that made this demand. I would suspect they asked the president a little bit more information on where exactly things are and so on. So they should be able to give us a little bit more information on why they accepted the position.
Right. Dr. Acquah, this is Mamavi. The MPs returned to Parliament with the people's position. And that's, leading to the demand. There must be consequences for this U-turn if indeed we believe the statements issued by the majority leader to be representing the position of the entire 95 MPs who are against Ken Ofori-Atta remaining finance minister. Won't there be consequences?
There would be, but to want the consequences now, it's something that I can't comment on, because from the statement I've read, it's a negotiation they went to do. It's not a coup. You see, if it's a coup, it's a different thing. And you can have a military as well as a civilian coup. The important thing is that they said he gave reasons, IMF negotiations being completed within a certain time, and the importance of it, and budgets and so on. Parliament, the fact that Parliament is leading this and his own party puts the president in a very difficult situation. Look, there are a countless number of things, apart from the budget, that they have to approve. International agreements, loans, this coming and so on. And you have a hung Parliament and an opposition that is already geared towards, bringing about this effect, censuring the minister and so on. So if I put all these factors together, I do not think that the president has had his way, except that he says we are in the negotiations and in 3 weeks, I don't know, I picked the 3 weeks from another source, and that would end, and then we can take this, Parliament can decide not to go ahead with ratifying or approving the budget if they do not have clear signs. Maybe the negotiation, I don't know how it went, but if they trusted their leader that his word will be done in terms of the minister standing down and resigning and all whatever, this is the position they've taken. We should hold them to it. But I think the consequence of reneging on the minister, Ken Ofori-Atta, and his deputy staying on looks quite threatening. Would look quite threatening to the president.
Dr. Charles,
because there will be a bigger action, not only in Parliament. It's possible a wider group, And I don't think the president wants that. I would imagine that he would keep his word, because any credibility problem that is created by not doing what was said and so on could be further for politics.
Dr. Charles
and all that.
Sure. Dr. Charles Reku-Brebe, if the president is running a nation, a state, and not a family dynasty, then why is it so difficult? Why is it impossible for him to just simply ask Ken Ofori-Atta to step aside?
Mamavi, you're talking to Tarzan, not Akufo-Addo. Your question is redirected to Akufo-Addo. Look, what I'll simply say is this. The people who originally issued this statement, please, said that the finance minister has lost credibility, and therefore this was affecting the discussions and the pace and the outcome of the negotiations. Their whole statement was premised on the need for change now. So their more recent statement has now also added them to those who have lost credibility. And now let's really move on and try to close this deal with the fund. The people don't understand that it is not the fund that is telling us what to do. We have to present a credible program that they can add their credibility to ensure that others can see us as being credible. The internal politics, as I said, is purely a matter between the executive and the parliamentarians. Obviously, they feel that they are not being able to satisfy their constituents. Let me go back to it. Because of certain payments and other obligations to them that have not been met, and they blame Ofori-Atta for that. They also say that they were not happy about insider trading, etc., etc. So the complete U-turn is, for me, nothing but shameful. And they have joined the group of incredulous politicians and an incredulous executive.
Thank you very much, Dr. Charles Reku-Brebe, and thank you also, Dr. Emmanuel Acquah. We're grateful to you this morning.
Thank you.
Folks, you heard from Dr. Charles Reku-Brebe and Dr. Emmanuel Acquah, who is Executive Director of IDEC. This is the Super Morning Show. Raymond, you've listened to the two. They've made their points very clear. Dr. Acquah seems to suggest it's a process. Give it a time. Reku-Brebe says no.
If my understanding of the statement that was issued is right, there are some very confusing parts. It says, following the press conference held on Tuesday, 25th October 2022, by some members of the Majority Caucus in Parliament demanding the removal of the Minister of Finance and the Minister of State at the Finance Ministry, the President engaged member for the caucus and requested that the issue be stood down until the conclusion of the round of negotiations with the IMF and the presentation of the budget, not the conclusion of the budget. So two things. Finish negotiations and present the budget.
But budgets will be concluded before it is presented.
Yes, but my point here is that there are two different timelines. Ken Ofori-Atta can work on the budget and not present the budget. You get what I'm trying to say? Mm-hmm. The majority MPs first said, we will not be part of your budgetary presentation and its approval.
Right.
So now they have no clue in that particular area, whether they like it or not. You have to sit through the budgetary presentation and its approval. That's what they agree to. And you see, let's get it straight. The president is not saying anywhere in the statement, even from the majority, that I'll agree to do what you want me to do. He's saying we will discuss the matter when we do these two things. There's no part of it. It is the understanding of the majority that it will be acted upon. He said the demand shall be acted upon.
Yeah, but what is the demand?
No, hold on. This demand, it's not what the president is considering. Let me read that part again. It said the president engaged, said that the issue be stood down. That means that, you see, if the president wanted to say that I will sack Oforiatta, but the only time I will sack Oforiatta is after these two events, it's very different. There are no assurances to the majority. Let nobody confuse the two. And that's the more reason why this majority could have just continued with the credibility they have obtained from the people of this republic. In any case, this second decision they took, which constituent did they consult? Where did they consult them? They have said that they've gone back to consult the people during the break and came back to do the decision. When did Osei Mensah go to Swami, the poor Kotoko, and the other areas within Swami? When did he get their consent to come and do this decision? It is almost like they are taking the people for granted. In fact, you see, the way we do our democracy, we make it look like when you are giving power, it's a permanent endorsement of whatever you do, but that's not true. In a proper system where constitutionalism works, you consistently renew your legitimacy with the people. That's why I'm coming to this kind of Oforiatta matter. Let's be fair. He's lost credibility within his own members of parliament. If we were a parliamentary system, he would have been off on his own. In fact, he would have been given the opportunity to resign, which would have done so immediately, not after some period, because we don't need to replace him after those periods. Except all the competent men in government, nobody can step in. Touch wood, if Ken Oforiatta is no more today, what are you telling me? That we can't get anybody to continue the negotiation? That Oforiatta is perhaps the biggest person in this republic, that without him we cannot do IMF negotiations, that we've not done it before, and that he has the magic bullet. If he has the magic bullet, why are we before the IMF? This same Oforiatta is the man who told everybody. You remember the Reuters reporter, the white man, who went to ask a question about IMF? He said, why people want us to go to the IMF? Why are you so bent on getting us to the IMF? This same man is now leading our negotiations almost with no compunction at all. Seriously. And yes, how is it possible that parliamentarians, minority, majority, you can say that that's an arm of government. The judiciary is not part of this conversation. We, the people that give power to the president, we are saying remove this guy. We've not said that you collapse the entire government. We've not said dissolve cabinet yet. We've not even said that the economic management team is also useless, so dissolve that one too. We've not gotten to that point. We are saying remove just a minister. We have not said that your government has failed woefully yet, so you have no credibility to continue. We have not said that yet. We have said that remove just a minister. How is it difficult for the leader of the country to listen to his own people? Which other people would he be listening to? Based on whose legitimacy is he ruling? Who is the president of this republic representing today? Does he want us to vote on this matter? Does he need a survey to actually conclude on this matter? So who is the president representing by deciding to keep this man in office? And that's the point that we got into. So if majority MP said that, oh no, let's extend the stay. When you just told us that the man has no credibility to even negotiate the IMF deal, so now he has the credibility because the president says so. All of a sudden he can give us a better deal. And one more point I need to make in this area. Some time ago, we were told about going to Senchi. And after Senchi, the document we put together is a document we're using as our homegrown policy to engage the IMF. Today, what is our homegrown policy to engage the IMF? This enhanced, so whatever they call it. Why is that document? At least the Senchi one, they put it on the website and people could download and read some. What is our homegrown policy? That's a question that Dr. Rekubobe is asking. Why is it being made like a court engagement on this one? Exactly, because we are going to feel the effect. Oforiatta and Co, they are rich people. They are less likely to feel the effect of what happens in an IMF deal. We are going to feel the effect. But everything is being made to look like we are third-class citizens in our own country. You can't cause a change. We can't know what you are doing too. All that we are being told every day is that there are meetings. Come on.
Raymond, I wanted to remind you that Osei Mensah has actually presented the budget before.
And nobody died in this country. In fact, some were even impressed with that one. Very, very impressed with it. What's the big deal anyway? Why is it so difficult for our governors to progress? Because the entire concept here is that we agreed for some people that we have elected to represent our views. At a point, if they don't represent our views and collective aspirations, we tell them, then they change their ways. We have said this here consistently, they are not changing their ways. The members of parliament are saying it. Which group again is required to say this thing?
And significantly, Raymond Acquah, this statement that you just read, signed by Osei Mensah, and it says majority caucus, right?
Yeah.
That's the majority. But we haven't seen a statement from the presidency stating the position.
Yes.
Perhaps.
They said their engagements with him. That's what they are saying.
Because we know the president engaged the majority caucus. Majority has issued a statement. Shouldn't the president also issue a statement so that we, the people, will also understand from his point of view what he has agreed to do?
Ordinarily, if they felt this was an important engagement, they would have done so.
All right, I think that Bob Marley has a say on all of this. Okay, all the things you've been talking about, Bob Marley wants to tell us something. Head. Still live right here on the Super Morning Show on Joy 99.7 FM. And when we return after these messages, it will be your turn to tell us what you make of all of what the Majority Caucus has been doing. When we activate the phone lines on 0302 216 541 and 055 997. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
We have grown bigger and better, and we have moved into a new experience for Melcom. With a new logo and the new Melcom, which reflects our intentions to remain committed as the #1 shopping destination for everyone. Melcom, where Ghana shops.
Are you covered? In fact, how much do you know about motor insurance? Do you know exactly what it takes to make sure that your car is all-round covered the way it really needs to be? To make the right choice when choosing a motor insurance policy, you need to talk to the right people. Dunwell Insurance offers competitive rates and a choice of covers ranging from third-party cover, third-party fire and theft cover to comprehensive cover. At Dunwell Insurance, we delight in paying personal attention to our esteemed customers and ensure prompt payment of claims. So if you didn't know, now you know. Dunwell Insurance. If it must be done, it must be done well.
Statistics show that over 90% of all cyber crimes are successful due to human error. That is why the Cybersecurity Authority, CSA, in collaboration with other partner agencies, is keen on awareness creation to ensure that children, the public, businesses and government have a safe and secure digital experience. The 2022 edition of the National Cybersecurity Awareness Month, NACSAM, comes off from October 1st to 31st on the theme Regulating Cybersecurity, a public-private sector collaborative approach. Be part of this event by organizing cybersecurity awareness creation sessions for the members of your group or institution and through your social media platforms. For further information, contact the CSA on 0303 972 530 or visit www.csa.gov.gh. Follow us on social media at Cybersecurity Authority Ghana.
Ghana, get ready for God's General Senior Prophet Jeremiah Motofufi once again in Ghana. With the theme Ghana Recover 2022. It is a 5-day Power Park Crusade. 3rd to the 7th of November 2022 at the Independence Square, Accra. Time 4 p.m. each night, and attendance is free. And on the 7th, which will be the last day, there will be special impartation and anointing service for ministers of the gospel, politicians, public and civil servants, businessmen and businesswomen at International Conference Center, Accra, at 4 p.m. and is strictly by registration. For inquiries and registration, please call the following numbers: 0540-898202 or 0598-924-929. Jesus is Lord.
This is your last chance to make that dream travel you have been waiting for come true. So take that step with Latina Travels and Tours and join the business tour in Turkey and leisure in Dubai for all your business and leisure needs from the 1st to the 8th of November 2022. Package starts from $2,500 and includes visa, flight, accommodation, 3-meal plan, transfer and tours. To register, contact Latina Travel on 0244-260-789 or call Gifty on 0270-302-245 or visit the Sunny TV premises or Latina Travel at the Elisa Hotel, Northridge, Accra. This advert is sponsored by Joy FM, Latina Travel, Sunny TV, Sunny FM and AGI.
The biggest event in sporting history is on, and it needs the biggest packages ever. Addo Travels World Cup packages are the best and the biggest you can find anywhere, with so many options that will blow your mind out. Travel packages for Qatar and Dubai, which includes return flight, hotel accommodation, daily buffet breakfast, airport and in-city transfers, 1-month multi-entry visa to Dubai, discovery of Doha and Dubai guided city tour, card for entry to Qatar with free public transport in Doha, complimentary guided Dubai city and shopping tour, and the ultimate FIFA category 3 tickets for Ghana matches as per package. Ghana, this is big, all at a cost-effective and affordable rate. Terms and conditions apply. So from the 22nd November to 3rd December, book your spots now. Contact Addo Travels now on 0593-850079 or 0556-310404. You can visit our office at American House, East Legon.
Hey, welcome back to work.
Charlie, thanks, bro. Thanks,
the
bro.
malaria really knocked you down, eh?
Charlie, no joke. Hey, fever, headache, vomiting, loss of appetite. I couldn't even eat my usual fufu.
You and fufu?
How we go do it?
I hope you got tested before the malaria treatment.
Oh, yes, I did. And thanks to Malatu, I kicked out malaria one time.
Sharp. Anyway, sorry to ruin your excitement, but your boss asked of you.
Okay.
She says she has plenty work for you.
No problem, Charlie. Strength day.
You see,
When malaria strikes, take Malatu, containing Artemether and Lumefantrine. Comes in tablet and suspension for the effective treatment of malaria in adults and children. If symptoms persist after 3 days, consult your doctor. Malatu is manufactured and distributed by Ernest Chemists Limited. This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the FDA.
Gone are the days when good sleep was a nightmare. Today, rest is assured. We have found a solution. Royal Foam is here. With Royal Foam, quality and customer satisfaction comes first. We produce mattress, carpentry foams, duvets, bedspreads, curtains, and beds. For the quality services we offer, Royal Foam have also been awarded at the 12 Business and Financial Excellence Awards. For good sleep and better relaxation, it should be Royal Foam. For quality, buy Royal Foam. Visit Royal Foam at our showrooms and sales depots across the nation. Call our hotline on 020-227-1000. Royal Foam, rest assured.
Foreman, how can I say the screening be smooth, perfect, where it dey dry fast like that?
Contractor, I always dey tell you say interface self-leveling screen be the best solution. It dey dry fast, where it dey make the job neat. In fact, it pass analog. This be original digital interface self-leveling screen.
Hey, babe, I hear you, Interface man.
Interface Limited is the leading supplier and installer of finishing input materials for the building and construction industry in Ghana. Call us on 0274-999999 or visit our website at
www.interfacelimited.net. Facebook, Interface Limited GH. Instagram, interface.limited.
Coffee in your cup and joy on the set. The Super Morning Show is always the best bet on Joy 99.7 FM.
right, so welcome back. This is definitely the Super Morning Show on Joy 99.7 FM. And we're handing over the microphones to you. We're activating the phone lines now on 0302 216 541. Now, this morning you've heard from the Majority Leader, Osei Mensah-Bonsu. He says, following discussions with the President, it is their understanding, that's the understanding of the Majority Caucus, that after the presentation of the budget and the conclusion of negotiations with the IMF, the President would act upon their demand. Well, Charles Rekubrobe says, if you came out forcefully and talked about all these and came back to say, after discussions with the President, you've lost credibility too. For Dr. Raymond Acquah, it's only a process. Let's take time. The President would definitely act upon the request. So the phone lines have been activated now. 0302 216 541 05511 11997. But for the last 20 years, Ashesi has been educating and ethical entrepreneurial leaders through high-impact experiential education. The university is now recognized as one of Africa's best with a bold vision to raise the bar for higher education on the continent. Ashesi graduates are considered amongst the world's best and receive job offers, start businesses or graduate school within 6 months of graduation. As Ashesi celebrates 20 years of impact and excellence, learn more about the university at ashesi.edu.gh. Remember, admission is ongoing. Ashesi University, 20 years of educating ethical and entrepreneurial leaders in Africa.
And are you an entrepreneur or business owner struggling to keep up with the economy in these times? Are you looking for an opportunity to network with other entrepreneurs, to learn new business strategies and innovative ideas to grow your business and advance your career? Then join us for the 3rd annual Entrepreneurs Solutions Summit, which brings together like-minded entrepreneurs and influential leaders to share ideas, insights, actionable strategies, and innovative solutions to grow businesses on Thursday, 3rd November 2022 at the Labadi Beach Hotel. This year's summit is brought to you by African Bag Recruitment, focuses on business resilience, how small to medium-sized enterprises can survive an economic downturn. Speakers include Wamkele Mene, Secretary General of the African Continental Free Trade Area from South Africa, Kosi Yanke Aye, CEO of the Ghana Enterprises Agency, Leven Daniels, CEO, Televic Group, Belgium, Addo Jnr, Managing Director of the Ghana Stock Exchange, Somachi Chris Asoluka, Director, Partnership and Communications, Tony Elumelu Foundation, Nigeria. These great speakers will discuss how companies can build resilience, use innovation for sustainability and growth, develop, reshape and implement strategic plans, identify new businesses and partnership opportunities for continuity. This is a great networking and lead generation summit you would not want to miss. Limited tickets available. To attend, kindly call or WhatsApp 0559 941 415 or register via entrepreneursolutionssummit.org. The Entrepreneur Solutions Summit is partnered by Stanbic Bank, German Corporation, Niche Chocolates, JMPL Mine Support, Glyco Insurance, Association of Ghana Industries, Ghana Investment Promotion Center, Ghana Web, Ghana Enterprises Agency, DDP Aldo Limited, the mines departments under the Ministry of Tourism, Ghana Air Premier and Global Board World. The Entrepreneur Solutions Summit, a great networking space you would not want to miss.
And the Norwich new season is here. Malta Guinness invites you to watch and support the goodness in women's football with the Malta Guinness Women's Premier League. Follow every pass, tackle and goal as our ladies add some style to fuel your passion for football. Follow the Malta Guinness Women's Premier League on our social media channels, hashtag Malta Guinness WPL, and watch the matches live on Max TV weekly.
And the eye is our most important sense organ, accounting for about 80% of our awareness of our environment, yet most of us, unfortunately, do not take the necessary steps for proper eye care, and as a result suffer visual illusions, color vision problems, and common sight or reading disorders that can be corrected or managed. With 31 plus years of experience, Robert & Sons Limited Optical Services continue to offer comprehensive eye care services to help address many of these such problems. Their services include all-day comprehensive eye testing and modern equipment, eye specialist services, pediatric eye care services, visual field testing, retina damage detection scan, and 100% original and unbeatable frames and optical products, including contact lenses and solutions. So visit Robert & Sons Optical in Adabraka. They are also in Osu Dankwa Circle, Tema Community 6, Wager, East Legona, Denta, Kumasi, and their new and ultra-modern Kofroridua branch. For more information, please call Robert & Sons on 0302 222 601 or 050 151 9111. Visit them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. The handle is at Roberts Sons Limited. Roberts and Sons Optical Services, seeing is believing.
All right, so the phone lines have been activated now on 0302 216541 055 1111997. And Raymond Acquah, have a message for you from Harry Boachi, who says, please tell Raymond to cool down. And Harry Boachi now says, an Oda dear father.
Charlie, the prizes.
Oda dear father, Oda dear father. I know his son is at PRESEC, so Oda dear father.
You want to cool down, but if you check the pumps this morning, Charlie.
If you check which one?
Charlie, they're full. Massa. Significant increase. That's like what, 10%?
See me after the show.
Okay, that means a lot.
Yeah. I'll definitely see you after the show, but the phone lines have been activated 0302 216541 and 055 1111997. Newman from New Achimota, good morning.
Yeah, good morning, boss. How are you?
I am fine, Newman. Hope you're fine too.
Yes, by his grace, I'm doing well.
Tell us what your thoughts are.
Okay, looking at the situation now, is it possible the minority can go ahead and do the vote, so that if any one of them who was first with them, with the minority, can vote? Because now they are not willing. Now president is convincing them not to do what they want to do. So if possible, the minority can go ahead and do the vote of confidence thing for us to see what will happen.
Okay, thank you very much for joining us, Newman from New Achimota. Let's get to Dansuman, where Kwabna is. Kwabna, good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm fine, Kwabna. How about you?
Very fine.
Great.
Go ahead. The president is not aware of the anger out there. If the president were to be aware of the anger out there, he will never keep Ofriata in. I'm telling you. This same Ken Ofriata is the one who said, oh, I cannot work with this person. I cannot work with this person. And those people have even eventually been sacked. Why is he keeping to power when he cannot? The intellectuals, all the universities, professors have spoken. Why can't the president listen? Is he a dynasty? Why is he keeping Ken Ofriata as a minister now? If he is aware of the anger out there, he will never keep Ken to go and complete the negotiation before he is replaced. So the president must be told.
Thank you very much, Kwabna from Dansuman. Well, we're not aware of Ken saying he can't work with people. But so let's get to Pokwasi, where Kweku is. Kweku, good morning.
Winston, how are you?
I'm fine, Kweku. How about you?
I'm good. Great to know. Just by the way, it's always either the first or with the second. So we are very comfortable. Okay.
You are either the first or with the first.
Or with the first.
So in this case, you are actually
we are the champions of
you're actually with
regional.
So this case you're actually with PRESEC.
Among the best of regional champions.
So you are with PRESEC.
Okay.
You are with PRESEC.
It's okay. All right. So listen, when you are going to a battle, you take your wounded soldiers or military people who are very good. I mean, what is the president? I mean, the president is saying like that. Ken is the only person that can go to IMF to negotiate on the country. They're the same person that told the whole world we are capable of managing our own affairs. We don't need IMF. We are not going to IMF to be young watching and young. This is the team test. What is the credibility he's presenting to the IMF? I mean, what kind of testing does that? Well, to the
if you could kindly reduce the volume on your radio set, we seem to be getting some feedback.
Okay. Am I okay?
No, Kweku. Please move away from the radio, otherwise it'll be very difficult to hear you.
Am I okay now?
Yes, it's better now. Go ahead.
Okay. So, to the majority caucus in Parliament, we were very, very happy when we heard 2 days ago that 80 members of the majority caucus have decided to more or less challenge the status quo. Now, today, Austerity Minister is telling us that they have kind of agreed with the president that they should allow Ken to finish what? This is the same person. How is the IMF going to look into the eyes of Ken to give this country anything? This is the person that told us that we don't need the IMF. We are not going there. So, Mr. President, can you train that man and ask somebody else to do the job? Can you do that? Because Ken has lost everything that is called credibility. He's lost everything. And we don't need Ken. Seriously speaking, we don't need Ken to lead this negotiation.
Okay. Thank you very much, Kweku, from Pokwas. Let's get to Legon. Isaac, good morning.
Good morning, my neighbor. How are you?
Isaac James, I am fine.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
Yes, a very long time.
Why is KY? I'm missing him.
Jehoshaphat. He'll be joining us on Monday.
In fact, Winstonia.
Yes, sir.
I am. If what I'm hearing is true, that these MPs have back off from their call that the finance minister should resign, Akufo-Addo should sack him, and then I'll be very, very disappointed.
They have stayed the call for now. They'll get back to it.
I just started getting some hope that okay, we have a good democracy. But if it's true, then they are useless. Why?
No, Isaac James. No, please. Isaac James, these are members of parliament. They have made a point to the president and have said they are staying their call until the presentation of the budget. You cannot term them as useless. Please retract that statement and continue.
So that things can work in this country. Yeah? They should not back off. They should call on the president to sack Oforiatta, or he should be a honorable man to resign. That's all.
Thank you very much, Isaac James. Let's go to Adan where Emmanuel is. Emmanuel, good morning.
Listen, good morning.
Yes, Emmanuel, go ahead.
Very, very disappointed in the majority caucus because the call for Ken Oforiatta to resign or to be sacked is based on his failure. The person has not believed in IMF. The person cannot do the negotiation. He has proven that he is not the man to do all these things on our behalf. The person has failed. So what if he should go and negotiate and come and pass the budget for who should come and implement? For who should come and implement? That is the reason why we said the person cannot do the job, sack him. And that was the call that I heard the majority. They have, I mean, for them to compromise on their position, it's a shame. It's a shame. They should have insisted that the person leave that position for another person to take off. When the new person completed the negotiation and implement, the person knows where he's going. You are asking the failure to go and do the negotiation and then bring the budget to be passed for somebody before you release it for somebody to come and take over. Doesn't make sense.
Thank you very much, Emmanuel from Adan. Let's go to Sunyani, where Joe is. Joe, good morning.
Good morning, Winston.
Yes, Joe.
How are you?
I'm fine. How about you?
I'm fine, by the grace of God.
Great.
This morning, what we are hearing is really not a good news. Okay, but for me, I want us even to look at this conversation from a different perspective. Okay. We are in a situation where the president himself has called on Ghanaians that we need to come together. My question is that, is the president really sincere about that call? That we need to come together as Ghanaians to fix the current situation? The reason why I am asking this question of the president's sincerity is that the same Ghanaians that you are calling us to come together are telling you from all quarters that there is something fundamentally wrong with your finance minister. And it is the president that we've been pleading with to make this call. I believe that the president in the current situation, he is not really sincere that we need to come out of this situation. Because if the president is sincere that we must come out of this situation, and as Ghanaians, everybody, yesterday, I listened to Kwame Jnr, the renowned economist, and this man is even making a point that the delay in the IMF responding to our situation is partly due to Ken Ofori-Atta's continued stay in office. The question we are asking ourselves is that, what is the president hiding? What is Ken Ofori-Atta hiding for the president that he cannot let Ken Ofori-Atta go? You know, it is a very serious situation we are inside. Today, a liter of petrol is 17 Ghana cedis. What does it take for the president to ask Ken Ofori-Atta to stay aside?
All right. Thank you very much, Joe from Sunyani. And yes, a liter of petrol at some pumps, at some stations, at 17 cities. Others to sell it at 13.99. So, yes, it is true. And some of the stations at 17 cities. Papa Bisi in Accra, good morning.
Good morning, my brother. It's been a while.
Yes, Papa Bisi. Hope you're
brother,
fine.
You know, there's something that I need to all of us look at. The majority leader, Chimisa also, is part of Ghana's headache. Seriously. Seriously speaking, this man likes to scheme things to suit his paymasters, and that's the president. How come over 80, or let's say, is it less than 80, majority MPP MPs, they said they are against Ken Ofori-Atta. And then what we heard was a meeting with the president. I saw him live on telly, the TV3. Sorry to bring in TV3 something. When he was asked that, so when is Ken Ofori-Atta going to be sacked? He never answered that question. He just patted Roland Walker, then walk away. And what we heard was that now they have agreed to the president's demand of 3 weeks. Look, to be frank with you, I don't know the type of connections that Chimisa has with Ken Ofori-Atta and the president. What I want us to do, for Ghanaians all to do, is that Ken Ofori-Atta and all those people that he brought from data bank, and they are working in the public offices, all of them must be sacked as soon as Ken Ofori-Atta goes. All of them must be sacked.
Thank you very much, Papa Bisiu. Osechime Nsabonsu says their understanding is that after the presentation of the budget, the finance minister will go. That's what they understand based on their meetings with the president. Let's get to Kofridia. Thomas, good morning.
Good morning, Wilson.
How are you doing?
Fine. How are you too?
I'm fine by the grace of God. Go ahead.
Wilson, I want to find out, have you spoken to the spokesperson for the 80 people? Let us get his view. Because when they were making the press conference, was not there. And I don't know whether out of the 137, the 80 remaining the 50.
Okay, so let me just say this, Thomas and Kofridia, that we reached out to the team that originally held the press conference, and they say that Oseichi Mensah-Bonsu is their spokesperson now. He would speak on their behalf, and that would be it. We're talking to one of the members who led the team, and so that's just by way of information. Eben at Kwabenya, good morning.
Good morning. How are you, bro?
I'm fine. How about you?
Not bad. You know, be easy. Sure, in social. Never allow someone to tell you, try me and see. It's really dangerous. Anyway, good morning once again.
Good morning.
For the past 5 years, budget has been reading here. Is that not it? Hello?
Yes, I'm listening to you. Yes, it's been read every year.
Yes. And if I may ask, for the first time in the history of Ghana, Abuso Khan traded, jubilated for abolition of some taxes. Is that not it?
Tell me.
Yes. Hello?
Yes, go ahead.
You see, you and I, so far for the past 5 years that Ken Oforiatta have read budget, what are our benefits? We heard of Asempa budget, a Nidato budget, a Juma budget. Up to now, we haven't see any better thing. Now, when we want the man to be sacked, we are told that it's leading IMF negotiation and also 2023 budget. So we should give him some time. If for the first 5 years, the budget he has read hasn't benefited us, what shows that 2023 budget will benefit us when they are complaining of Russia, Ukraine, and COVID? You see, these people are not truthful. See, my brother, enough of the talking. Now we won't talk anymore. So our plan, Martin Pebu, the lawyer, and others, we are lacing our boots. We are going to occupy Flagstaff House and make sure we do as what Sri Lanka did, so that the president will know that we will occupy Flagstaff House. Have a good morning.
Thank you very, very much, Eben, for joining us. We can't pick any more of your calls, so Eben will be the last caller for now. Thank you very, very much, for joining us here on the Super Morning Show on Joy 99.7. Lots of messages coming via Twitter. What's Twitter saying, Mamavi?
Okay, so this one says Kwesi Kwarteng left and the management of the UK economy continued. I don't get the argument of the president. The IMF negotiations doesn't hang around Ken. In fact, he mismanaged the economy and he's not qualified to lead the delegation on the IMF negotiations. President must understand that the crisis is beyond Ken. He's undermining his own presidency. He's destroying the NPP. Ken must also do the honorable thing by helping the presidency by resigning. And this is from Jay. Enyemen Kure says, you just don't start what you know very well you can't finish. Nana Addo has successfully tamed them. Disappointing. More messages on Twitter, and this one is Don Kowana says, are these MPs serious? How can you accede to something that was the basis for your protest? They've disappointed Ghanaians by this act. Is the president's priority more important than that of the 31 million citizens of this nation? Hashtag Joy SMS. This is at Africa Dew says, but should we rely on the NPP to remove the finance minister? No, let's stay focused. Citizens should mount pressure on the president to act. Ken should be smoked out of the finance ministry. Every extra day he stays there, Ghana sinks deeper. It is now or never, with the hashtag now or never. D. Jerry says, I now agree with others who said they were just acting. They are definitely part of the problem in this country. When the time comes for us to decide on who will represent us in Parliament, we will do the right thing. Long live Ghana. Dufo_Elvis says, Ken agrees to complete IMF deal and after that receives a sack. My people, if you were Ken, what will you be doing? Anyway, I can foresee Mr. President telling Ghanaians afterwards that everything is back on track, so Ken should be allowed to continue, whichever way we lose. This is Jisma 13 says, what happened to we are never backing down? Hashtag Joy SMS. Freddie Matt says, there we go again. I don't trust any of them. If you believe in yourselves and your motion, why bend the rule? Our MPs are the same.
Right, our MPs are the same. Stay with us. There's more after these messages. And of course, the focus will be on the National Science and Maths Quiz.
This is your last chance to make that dream travel you have been waiting